Hi guys, and welcome to this week's Wake Up CX. As I discussed on Monday, this week's all about relationships and working with people you dislike and how that goes. I provided three scenarios, and I'm going to sort of break this video down into those three scenarios because I think they're all a bit different, but they're all equally important. And again, I apologize if this comes across like a really basic lesson, but the more I've worked through my life, the more I've seen these three things really take a back seat. And I just think they're good reminders for everybody. So I'm going to start off with your colleagues. So throughout your career, you're going to have to work with people, and you'll have some people that you really get along great with, people that you want to go out for a drink with a beer or whatever. And then you'll have people that you can just get by, so everything's fine and cordial. And then you'll have people that rub you the wrong way or people that you dislike. Now, there's obviously going to be different reasons for this, and there can be reasons where, it's not resolvable. And this person just isn't a good fit for you. And that's absolutely fine. We're all different, we're all unique. And as adults, we can deal with this. It's not a major problem that you have to work with someone you dislike. It might make things uncomfortable, but you just need to sort of find that balance to get along enough that you can complete whatever the objective is. And there's so many different parts to this, but it really does come around to like that schoolyard type thing that you just need to cut out the silliness. So don't speak about them behind the back. Don't try to undermine them. Give them the opportunity to share their viewpoints without taking shots. And it's just basic etiquette, to work with someone and treat them with respect. Even if you dislike them, you have to overcome that and work with them. If you start taking shots and speaking about people behind the backs, it's going to create such a negative environment that no one's going to want to work with it. And the people that you did think like you, they're not going to like you because they're not going to trust you. And that's just basics that you need to get your grips with when you're working. I've worked in environments where it was very common for people to speak about people behind the back. It's the most uncomfortable thing to be involved in or be around. And you see this sort of the two-sided element of people. And it makes it really a difficult place to work, and you don't really want to be around people. You don't want to build those relationships that make it a good place to work. And if it's left unchecked, it's a huge problem. So you need to basically take a little bit of onus on yourself to stamp that out and make sure that you're supporting a culture that you want to be part of. And that means even if you dislike people, just be polite with them. I'm not saying be fake with them. You should never be fake with them. And if you've got a grievance with someone, you should try and find a positive way, of having that conversation, trying to air it out and discuss it and come to an agreement. But if that's not an option, sometimes it's, you just dislike someone, you get a feeling about someone, you don't know why. But you just need to work around it and make sure that doesn't impact your work. And make sure that you're not taking shots and making them feel worse because of something that you're feeling. Because that's not right either. You need to harbour some stuff to yourself, unfortunately. That's just a way of life. You just need to deal with it. The second one is customers on the phone. And this one really drives me nuts, or what do you say, grinds my gears, so to speak. On LinkedIn, you'll see a lot of posts about customer experience and customer service, and how you're always great and how you always want to help the customer and how everything's brilliant. But the reality is that's not always true. Let's not sugarcoat it. Sometimes you don't want to help that customer. That customer came on the phone, they shouted at you, swearing, screaming, going absolute nuts, and that's your only relationship with that customer. So let's ignore the phone call right now, right? If your only interaction with someone ever is when they're screaming and shouting and belittling you, you do not like that person. You're not going to want to go over there and give them a hug. You're going to want to just get away from that situation. And the same things happens in the contact center, and call handlers in the call center are not going to want to help these customers. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't, because, that's their job to help people. But they're not going to want to. They're going to hate this customer. They're going to dislike this customer. They're not going to want to support them and find them the best solution. They're going to want to find them the quickest solution and get them off the phone. And it's a shame, but that's the reality of it. And all the sugarcoating in the world is not going to change that. Now, there's a couple of different ways to approach this. First, you take your hardline approach, which is, you know what, you're going to speak to me like that, we're not going to continue this conversation, I'm going to have to end the call. And then if they continue, you terminate that call. Because it's a two-way relationship. If they're not going to be polite with you, you don't need to put up with it. Just like if you go into a doctor's office, you'll see signs. If you're abusive to our staff, it's a non-starter. You know, it has to end right there. And your staff should feel empowered enough that they can do that and take themselves out of situations that are making them uncomfortable. That just seems like a fair bottom line to me. The second one is, train your staff to de-escalate these situations before they come to that measure. So, explain to the customer, I want to assist you, I want to help you get a resolution, but I can't do that if you're going to be aggressive with me. If you can take your time, lower your voice, speak to me politely, and work me through it step by step, we'll try and find an amicable resolution for you. It might not always work. Sometimes they'll still have them blind at you, in which case you resort to the termination line. But if they can calm down their voice, you can still try and find them a solution and get your agent away from them. Just because they suddenly calm down doesn't mean you're all of a sudden going to like them. You might still harbour that little bit of, oh my God, this guy's annoying. But, you can make it through the call. And then, again, with all of this, there's a little bit of that you need to find the best outcome. You need to deliver into your targets and all the rest of it. And it's not easy. And there is no sugarcoating it. Very rarely will you turn around and love these customers at the end of the call. That's not to say that you won't have some that you'll start to sort of understand and appreciate where they're coming from. Because, we've all had terrible customer experiences before. And we know how infuriating that can be. And not everyone can detach themselves from the issue and the person they're speaking to, or the employee in the business. And that's a shame, but it is a reality. But once you've worked in customer service, you kind of get used to it in a little way, which is a bit of a shame, really, because we shouldn't have to. But you do kind of get used to it, and you'll find yourself, you can be so riled up with a situation, that you want to scream and shout. But then when you come through to it, because you've been on the other end of that phone, when you come through and you're ringing these people up, like, look, I'm not trying to be aggressive with you. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm extremely frustrated. And you give all these boilerplate things at the start, just to explain that you're not taking it out on the call handle that you're speaking to. It's the situation you're infuriated by. The company has messed you around, not the individual. And, you'll start to recognise that. And I think that comes with a little bit of experience and a little bit of time, to be able to detach yourself a little bit. But again, let's not sugarcoat it. You don't love every customer. Stop pretending you do. You might want to find the resolution. You might harbour your own, I want to do well as a professional, but it doesn't mean you love everyone. So let's not lie about that. Work towards making it so you like more customers than you dislike, sure. But, that's just the basic for it. You're not going to last in customer service if you try and pretend everyone's amazing and you love everybody. It's not going to work. You just need to accept the reality of what it is and do your best to deal with people. That's just it. How it sums up, really. And the final one was LinkedIn, which, again, this is pretty much the same topic, but I've got connections on LinkedIn. I think I'm around about 1,800 at the moment. And I don't like them all. I'm not going to lie. I'll actively connect with people as well if I dislike them. No, I'm not trying to punish myself. But if everyone that you deal with you like, you're going to end up in an echo chamber. Because we like people that agree with us. We like people that share insightful comments that, assist us and support us. And that champion us to develop our ideas. Whereas you typically don't like someone that has the polar opposite views of you. But by surrounding yourself with people that have polar opposite opinions of you, you really can start to develop your own understanding and challenge your own ideas. And from my perspective, that's how you truly grow. So whether it's on LinkedIn, let's not pretend we like everyone, have debates, have conversations. Never be mean to anyone. Don't go out there to be a bully or anything like that. That's just stupid. But, challenge people, grow. Just because you have a polar opposite opinion to someone, it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. Especially if they're willing to have that discussion and that debate without letting it, drop into an abusive argument. You don't need that. You need to be able to keep it professional, cordial, and, have these debates positively so that you're both looking to learn and move forward together. You know, come together to find a solution that's going to work. And again, that relates to the work environment as well. Just because you dislike someone doesn't mean all their ideas are bad. You know, use that as an opportunity to explore your own understanding of things, develop your ideas, and build better solutions. I say every time, you don't make progress if everyone's sharing the same view. You need opposing arguments. You need people to disagree with you. So stop taking that always as a negative. It's such a positive if people can disagree with you. It becomes a negative when people can't disagree with you in a positive light. When comments and criticisms are not constructive. You know, you need to be able to turn these conversations and make them constructive to get the most out of them. So yeah, as I said, that's it for this week. I've ran a little bit over my 10 minutes that I seem to set for myself. I hope, although it may seem basic at times, I hope it resonates. I hope it makes sense to you and that you understand what I'm trying to get across. I'd love to know what you think. Do you think that you love every customer that you're ever on the phone with? Have you sort of created this perfect divide where you separate your personal emotions from it? Let me know. As I say, I'm always keen to learn more, so please let me know and discuss your perspective with me. Thank you guys, and I shall see you next week.